Overwatch 2 released last year to much surprise in that it was the almost complete game, but only multiplayer, missing the single player that they pitched us on in the early trailers of this game's going to have a single player experience. It's going to be co-op. You can play with your friends. PvE. You're going to have all this progression going on. Story mode, the whole 9 yards, plus brand new exciting multiplayer. They weren't able to deliver on that in time, so they were like, you know what, we'll just give you multiplayer for now, and then disable Overwatch 1, and then later on, we'll release the PvE. Well, they just announced that they are officially going to kill the single-player PvE experience that they originally promised was going to be part of Overwatch 2, and said, I quote, "We had people that were very excited to be playing that game and just wanted more of it, so they had a difficult choice to make this in regards to Overwatch 2 multiplayer. We could continue working on our original vision of Overwatch 2 without a definitive end date in sight, or change our strategy and get something in front of players sooner. We chose the latter, and we released Overwatch 2 last October with new heroes, new maps, new modes, and regular season updates. But more than that, we shifted our values for how we want to develop the game. No longer would we store content for really big releases and leave the game sort of languishing on the side. Now we made a commitment to always prioritize a live game and all of the people playing it to devote our development efforts there." So they just dropped a series of seasonal content, but in regards to the development of the PvE component, they said that the game itself was just not progressing as they expected, and that they create exciting missions, new enemies, impressive hero talents, but it was challenging to bring all those elements together into a high quality experience that could be released. And so they decided, well, rather than investing more time into PvE with the hopes of releasing it, they wanted to instead prioritize a live game and the player's needs. So they've decided to let go of the original vision for PvE, which included features like dedicated hero mode, talent trees, and long-term player progression. Those aspects are no longer part of their plans. Instead, there will be some story content, but it's going to be very much light, basic, simple story missions, just to kind of like those story videos that they release, but in a gameplay format. That are short, simple missions just to kind of tell you more about what's happening in the world. So
interesting.
All that's killed. No more single player, progressive kind of stuff. It's just going to be all in on this new content. So season 5 is going to kick off with the theme of mischief and magic on June 13th. And they're going to have a new limited time event mode there, as well as Summer Games event coming back. They're going to have a 5v5 mini comm season, the creator workshop mode, and the return of the on fire mechanic that was present in Overwatch 1. And then season 6 will have a new hero, a new support hero, a firing range, player progression system, and the annual Overwatch event. And that's also going to bring those story missions, but it won't be the hero missions that they were originally going to have in the game. And then later on, season 7 will bring a new tank hero, new stuff. So they've announced basically over the next year, they're going to have new heroes, new maps, new this, new that, new events, whatever. Continue giving that drip for everybody to play, but no more single player to be had in this game. So what do y'all think about that decision?
I felt like the single player was the reason why Overwatch 2 was like Overwatch 2. Because what was the point of having Overwatch 2 when it's basically the same game with like some updates, new characters, a little bit different story? Like, why not just add that in?
Right. Why not just have an expansion of the first one?
Exactly.
If it's just going to be the first one plus new characters.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I agree.
And if that's why people were upset, I completely understand. And, Blizzard is known, well, in the past, like when original Blizzard, there's a game that wasn't working, they would literally just scrap the whole thing.
Right.
They wouldn't even bring it out. Like, originally Overwatch was supposed to be an MMO to begin with. They're like, we just need to do something completely different. It happened to a few of their games. I forgot which, some of the ones that like just didn't even, StarCraft Ghost, completely scrapped.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of hype. I was looking forward to that game a lot. Just wasn't going to work out. But, here's the thing is like, you promised this, you put it out there for marketing, we spent our money, people pre-ordered it, and now it's just like, well, it's not going to happen. And that's the problem with pre-orders and buying stuff ahead of time, and people put all these promises in there. And I mean, it just happens too often. and here we are. So yeah, I'd be pretty upset too. I don't play anymore, and I wouldn't mind jumping back into it. It's still fun, but yeah, I was looking forward to that. That would have brought people back to this game, because I don't know what the player base is like. I'm sure it's not as big as it was on launch.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I played this on launch initially as well, but I had dropped off of the first Overwatch just long ago because it's just like repetitive. It was at the time repetitive for me, so I just wasn't excited about it anymore. And I jumped into 2 and I was like, okay, this is like giving me a little bit more excitement because there's new characters, new things, whatever. It's just 1 again, but like new stuff. So I'm like, okay, cool. Like I can get on board with this. And now I'm waiting on this PvE mode that they've promised us in so many words. And so that's something else to look forward to that I can play with my friends, whatever. And so now that that's not there and I've dropped off again, it's like I don't have any reason to come back, because that was what was going to bring me back. And that was what I was really honestly waiting for, just to try to spice it up a little bit more. Yeah. So yeah, I'm on that, and I didn't spend any money on it. It's free to play. You don't have to spend money on it, so which is fine. And I understand that, but I'm glad I didn't spend any money on it, because I would have been upset if I'd been like, okay, I'm spending this money in preparation for the PvE mode, and I'll have all these skins or whatever, this battle pass junk.
Yeah.
And then the way that they've really, I feel like they should bring loot boxes back. This is a different topic, but it's like, I understand that people are upset over loot boxes because there's a gambling aspect to it and whatnot, but the battle pass is just terrible. Like the amount, some of the skins you can get are cool, don't get me wrong, but if everybody's getting the same skin, then it's like, what is the point of working up to that if you're all just gonna be wearing the same outfit? That's like coming to a party and someone's wearing the same outfit as you. It's like, oh man, like this is just awkward now. Like we're both the same.
It's like, whatever like new clothing drop came out that season because everybody's wearing the same stuff.
You're not, it's not fresh, it's not cool anymore if everybody's wearing it. Like, oh, I'm this certain Reinhardt now too, so it's cool. It doesn't feel unique. Whereas with the loot boxes, it's like you don't know what you're gonna get. It could be something that nobody else has at the time, especially early on with skin drops. And so like that just made it feel a lot more fresh and interesting to me. Whereas now it just feels like I would be paying money to get something that everybody else has. And it's like, that's not fun.
We brought that issue up early on because people were having issues with, well, not that exactly, but with the battle pass.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing their dailies. It's all about them. It's no longer about team gameplay and winning the match. Like that's kind of been just cut out due to the nature of battle passes.
I could see that being a real point of contention because it's like you have to do the specific thing. So everybody's getting on that specific day to do that thing, and they don't care if they win the battle as long as they've gotten 20 headshots or whatever the thing is. Check the box off, then they're just done, or they'll just quit out or whatever. As opposed to like just working towards pure points that you can spend to get a loot box or whatever by winning a match. So
I never thought of it the way you just mentioned though, with like the seasonally now with seasonal content, like you're gonna see the same old stuff over and over again. Because like we've been getting back into Fortnite lately, and they just had a Witcher drop where you could get a Geralt and stuff like that. So then you see a bunch of Geralts run around. Yeah. Or like the Doom skin, like we all had the Doom skin. We're like, yeah, this is awesome. We got Doom, but it's like it does kind of take away some of the allure of like achieving level 100. If everybody else also achieved that with that thing. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's why I really have an issue with purchasable skins in that same way, or even like skins that you're earning, but everybody's earning the same skin. Because it takes away the uniqueness of it. Right. And it just like, it cheapens the whole process because it's like you're not earning anything. You're just paying X amount of dollars or spending X amount of time on something, and without an aspect of randomness to it, like, okay, everybody's going to be the same. Like, if we're all Doom guy, then we're just playing Doom at that point, right? Like, it's not unique anymore.
Yeah, that's a good point. I am curious how people feel about the battle passes in this game now, because, like, I mean, that, again, we came in. Yeah. Exactly. There's too many. It's like you have to like pick which game you want to kind of like lean into. But I wonder if there's any excitement around it anymore, because like Jason talks about on the podcast, it's like in a game that's third person, skins are cool because you can see it. In this game, until you get to the end of the game where you like see that like victory pose you don't ever see your character. So the skin doesn't matter to you as much as it matters to like what other people are wearing and stuff like that. So you do see that, but it does kind of, it feels less valuable in this game as it does in other games that are like in third person where you can like actually see yourself and you're running around.
It's a very good point.
Yeah. So I'm curious if, I don't know, I'm just curious monetarily, are they making more money now than they were before, or are they like suffering? I'm sure, I feel like the player base has died too, because like a lot, when they brought this out, it was like, oh yeah, Overwatch 2, this is gonna be great, it's gonna be cool.
Yep.
It's Overwatch. It's nothing's changed except there's more heroes. We have games now like Valorant and like the finals that we have coming out soon that are like switching that formula up a little bit and making it a little bit more fresh and different, that makes it worth coming back into. But this one, I mean, we played it for 2 months and then we were like, it really isn't much different.
Yeah.
You know? New mode, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, is the core gameplay enough to retain players or even casual players, or is it only the, I don't know, pro players or whatever, people who play this like all the time, they're going to be sticking around? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm really also curious to see what this means for like Overwatch League, because they put so much money into that and they were like, this is going to be like an NFL like style thing. And they put all that behind it. I'm curious if it's still, if it has the same, like if it's big at all anymore, like if people are pulling out of it.
Lost its luster overall with a lot of things over the past 5 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think it's as big anymore. Plus, people like Battle Royales a little more at this point. I mean, I still enjoy this gameplay. I just think that this has kind of died down a bit.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. I don't keep up with it, so I could be wrong.
I think that just is going to happen with any kind of game that has the same type of gameplay for so long without really changing things up, is it's going to grow stale.
Yeah.
Like you really have to freshen it up in some way. And I don't think they did with Overwatch 2.
No.
It's Overwatch 1.5, maybe?
Maybe 1.25.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really curious if they would have, if they knew that they weren't going to finish this, the big hero. I mean, because again, like they are still, it was confusing at first because they said like, oh, PvE is gone, but there is still the story missions coming. It was just confusing at first because there was going to be the hero missions, the big, huge hero stuff, and then these little like story stuff. That stuff is still going to be there, just it's much smaller than that of the big, huge progression based content that we were originally promised for this Overwatch 1 or Overwatch 2 update. But I'm curious though, like how look, if they were to go back and had left Overwatch 1 as it was and then never brought up the story content, but kept starting rather than them developing Overwatch 2 the time that they were, just kept building new content for it, if they would be in a better place financially than they are currently with the game, with these decisions that they made, or if it's just like kind of a mute point kind of thing.
Yeah, like if they had just done like an expansion for the first one, would it have been cheaper and brought in the same or more gain, or was the hype of 2 enough to counter the price of them building this new quote unquote game altogether?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, you know, looking at Destiny versus Destiny 2. Like Destiny 2 really probably didn't need one, other than the fact that the Destiny 1 engine was so like kind of broken and kind of falling apart. They needed to kind of like rebuild the game to start with 2. And then we've seen them now with Destiny 2. They've just been able to just like run that thing forever. But I think back when they did that transition, it made sense because they were fundamentally changing the entire gameplay experience from what Destiny 1 was. And they still brought some of Destiny 1 into Destiny 2. But in this one, it's like there wasn't a fundamental shift that happened here. It was just slightly increased graphics, and then that was it. So, yeah, it's interesting. But
we know the lead guy in charge of like everything at Blizzard left.
When did he leave?
I'm trying to figure out.
Jeffrey Kaplan.
There it is. Thank you. Let's see.
Or Jeff Kaplan, yeah. Jeff Kaplan. Or there you go. Yeah.
There you go.
I forgot when he left, but I mean, it was like right before Overwatch 2 came out.
Well, like they just announced it, and like the next year, they're like, he's gone. Yeah, Overwatch game director Jeff Kaplan. This was 2021.
Yeah. And this came out in 2022, so it was like a year before.
This was like they're in the midst of all the sexual allegations and all the games were sucking.
Involved in any way with that.
Yeah, no, he wasn't. But he was there, so people were giving him shit for that.
19-year veteran. Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And he's done. He was like, I'm out.
Yeah. But it was so interesting with him because he was like one of the few faces of like he had so much passion about this game and like what they were doing, and it like made me like love it that much more with like when he did his developer logs and stuff like that. Like they talked about the game and he would give insights into it. And I was like, yeah, I love this guy. Like he's kind of like the Phil Spencer of Xbox, you know, he's got that kind of personality that you're just like, I trust you. You may not make the best decision. Well, I mean, Overwatch was great when it launched.
Yeah.
But you know, it's with him gone, it kind of was like losing a part of Overwatch left at that point for sure.
He might have seen the writing on the wall. I don't know. We'll never know why he left officially. I mean, what he said is different, but you know, he might have just been like, this is not going to work out the way he wanted to.
Yeah. So he wanted to get out before the shit hit the fan.
Yeah. That or just like, this isn't my vision, or you won't let me make my vision, so I'm out.
Sure.
I put in too much time. It's over.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I was reading on this other article about the MMO aspect of it. So the team that put together Overwatch was the team that was making Project Titan, which is going to be the next big Blizzard MMO.
That's cool.
So they, in the wake of that game, a lot of them were pulled over into making this new game, and that Project Titan was going to be an FPS MMO. So it was going to be a first-person shooter MMO game, pre-Destiny. And they said that they had a crawl, walk, run plan. So Overwatch was the crawl. A dedicated version of PvE was the walk, which is what this next phase would have been. And then the MMO was the run. So it was built in the DNA of the team early on, and some of them considered the final game as a true realization of the original vision of Project Titan. But I think they realized that the ambition was too much. So they said so much so that the work was already beginning on its PvE future before development of Overwatch 2. They now think that was a mistake. When they launched Overwatch in 2016, we quickly started talking about the next iteration, what the next iteration could be. Looking back at that moment, it's obvious that they weren't as focused as they should have been on a game that was a runaway hit.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Well, it was popular. Sure, it was making a lot of money, so they're like, you need to focus on this because it's making money. And that's really what it comes down to. So, I mean, the PvE wasn't going to make hardly any money. Probably cost more to make it, which usually those things do. So they're probably, I'm sure someone was like, yep, you've spent too long. It's not going to happen. Scrap it. It's over.
Business decision.
Yeah.
Look at Fortnite, you know, they launched to Save the World, and they were like, well, let's try this Battle Royale thing. And then that took off, and they're like, okay, bye, Save the World.
Shifted altogether.
Yeah.
So Overwatch 2, it's kind of a shame, but this is definitely one of those failure stories, I guess, in the history of the world, where it's like just a decision that was at the time may have been good, but ended up not working out for them in the long run. And we'll see kind of where Overwatch goes in the future, but I think it's going to be one of those deals where it'll be hard to kind of, I don't know, recover from this in a way, but it's still going to survive. I mean, people are still going to play it. You know, it's not going to go away. I mean, we still have people playing World of Warcraft every day, even though that game is like, you know, same engine forever. And people still play. Even Heroes of the Storm is still, you know, a game that's played by a lot of people. So there's still audiences out there to play all of these different games, and it'll retain that audience. But I don't know if, and who knows, maybe one day they'll be like, screw it, let's just go back into that and make a story.
Yeah, if those story missions really take off and become popular, maybe that could, you know, light the fuse to restart the PvE aspect of this.
Because I was just so excited about that story component, because there is so much interesting lore to the world that they've built. You just don't ever see it because it's just in the form of these like very short featurettes that they put out on YouTube. But there is like a lot of deep story and lore that was built up for this universe. So I could see why they were going that direction. It just the audience kind of spoke for them in that sense. So yeah, Overwatch 2, it's still available to play, still free to play, but it won't be PvE to the level that it was supposed to be originally. So